Hello, this is Ryan from NowGamer.
And this is Paul.
And this is South Park, which is both really funny and really good.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, put you on the spot a bit there, but...
Yeah, obviously it looks like an episode of South Park. The good thing about it is also as funny as an episode of South Park. It's got all the characters that you'd expect to be there, like some really obscure ones. I do think you get a little bit more out of it if you know the series. It's funny anyway, but there's so many references to stuff from episodes and obscure characters and stuff like that I think you get a little bit more out of it if you know your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for us to judge what it's like if you haven't played South Park. Sorry, if you haven't seen South Park before, because obviously we are fans of South Park. But I think obviously the humour's there, the characters there, the references there, but it's also a really good RPG under it all. It's a bit basic, but it is good.
Yeah, I mean the combat system's basically turn-based combat system with a little bit of a action element where you have to do QT presses to sort of time with your attacks to make them more powerful or whatever. There's loads of armour that you can attach special abilities to and all that, which I wasn't expecting it to have that sort of level of complexity. The only issue I have with it is that later on it does get a bit too easy.
Yeah, it's really difficult at the start as well, isn't it?
Yeah, at the start you think, oh my god, this is actually quite hard.
Because the way it works is when you're attacked, you get a chance to block attacks, which is a timing thing. And it's difficult to understand the timing to begin with, but then once you get it down, you can just breeze through the game. The other thing that's cool as well, actually, that's worth mentioning is, as an RPG, all the status effects and stuff like that is based on South Park, so it's like grossed out or pissed off or things like that, which is pretty good. It's a nice touch.
Same with the moves, Rochambeau, which anyone who knows South Park will know what that is. Swift kick to the balls.
Jiu-Jitsu, if you play as a Jew. Sling of David.
Yeah.
Circumcise as well is a good one. Anyway, not going to go through all the jokes, but the point is that what makes it's a good RPG, it is, but I think what makes it really enjoyable is that everything is themed after South Park. Even the weapons you get, like you have arrow to start with, a bow and arrow, but then you get like bar darts and stuff like that as well. So
yeah, something I like that they've put in there as well is you get, as well as getting abilities that you can use in battle, you get abilities that you can use outside of combat as well. So sometimes where there'll be enemies around, instead of getting into a fight, you can use your abilities to interact with the environment and like cause an explosion with a fart or drop something on them as well, which is not a particularly complex system, but it's just a nice little bit of variety and gives you something a bit different to do.
Yeah, so I didn't review this, I'm just playing through it now, but you have reviewed it and you've completed it, Paul. How long is this game?
I think it's probably around 8 hours if you just stuck to the main campaign, but there's quite a lot of side quests to do. I did a few of them. I haven't done all of them, but I'd imagine you'd be sort of heading more towards sort of 12-15 hours if you did all the side quests as well.
And do you think that's long enough for an RPG?
I think it's the benefit that has is that this is really well paced. I mean, talking about it being like an episode of South Park, I think it has a really good pacing in the story of it, and it is short for an RPG, and I think that's why it can be a little bit simple and never really gets as complex as you might expect. But I think it stops it from ever getting boring, so I think the length is kind of to its benefit ultimately.
So one last question then for the European people out there. Obviously we've been lumbered with the censored version. Does it really make a difference, do you reckon?
Not really. It's sort of an own joke in itself, the way they flash up the little censored screen and describe to you what happens, so I can live with those scenes missing. You get the descriptions, you get the gist of it.
So what score did you give this in the end?
I gave it 8.
Cool. Good game then.